What's up, everybody? Doomwake here. Welcome to another video on the channel. I know we did a video with Asmo yesterday. That was the Asmo Turns deck. It was a Mardu version. We're going to be doing a little bit more Asmo content today, but it's a little bit different stuff. This deck list I actually first initially saw on Arilax's Twitter, and I know that they were working a bunch on it and had a bunch of different iterations on it. And I had somebody submit a donation deck list. By the way, we do donation decks every Thursday live on the Twitch stream. And somebody wanted to do this for a donation deck list. They just kind of, told me to play Arilax's Exact 75, and that's what I copied. So basically what we're doing here is we have the Asmo cookbook package that I'm sure you're used to by now. But we're going at it a little bit differently. You'll notice there's no Oval Chase Daredevils. So we're utilizing Cookbook, which is, the way to discard cards and make food, and we're utilizing that to discard Bloodghast and Silver Smoke Ghoul, which is kind of like the vampire package of this deck. So where you obviously you can discard Bloodghast, you can rebuy it with fetch lands or regular lands, you can discard Silver Smoke Ghoul. The cool thing about Cookbook Silver Smoke Ghoul is if you discard Ghoul and then sacrifice the food that you got off the Cookbook, you immediately get back the Ghoul that turn. So that's kind of cool. We have ways to kind of quote-unquote go off with Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, which you can basically sacrifice Silver Smoke Ghoul over and over again. So we have stuff to do with that. And then we have 2 copies of Angie, Maid of Dishonor, which is a 4/5 for 2, a black and a red. You get blood tokens whenever vampires come into play, and you can pay to sacrifice a creature blood token to drain your opponent. So you can kind of keep sacrificing Bloodghast over and over again. You can sacrifice Silver Smoke Ghoul. You only gain 2 life off the Angie, so Angie plus Silver Smoke Ghoul doesn't let it kind of go infinite, quote-unquote, so you need an additional way to gain at least 1 more life, whether that's like a Shadow Spear or a food token or stuff like that. So you can kind of get some good value that way. Same thing with Witch's Oven. You can go Witch's Oven, Silver Smoke Ghoul, and just keep sacking the Ghoul to gain, get a food, gain 3 life, get it back over and over again. And then we're playing red, so we obviously have Ragavan. One thing I will say, and you can, I'm not going to spoil it, but Ragavan wasn't at its best in this deck. We'll just say that. And then we have 4 copies of Voldaren Epicure, which is another interesting card here. It's been dubbed the Red Thraben Inspector, as it were. But it comes into play and it makes a blood token, and you can deal a damage to an opponent. The damage doesn't matter too much, but it's a body. It blocks Ragavan very effectively, and it makes a blood token, which is really nice because blood tokens are discard outlets for Asmo if you don't already have a cookbook. So there's that kind of aspect as well. And then we have our traditional Saga package with Pirate, Spellbomb, and Shadow Spear, and then Thoughtseize to kind of round out the interaction aspect of the deck. And then mana base, pretty straightforward. Cliffs, Pathways, Fetch Lands, Shock Lands, 4 copies of Urza Saga because we are an Underworld Cookbook deck and we do kind of want that to generate a lot of value. So that's kind of the main deck, a little bit of a vampire theme here going on. And then moving on to the sideboard, we get kind of a lot of the usual suspects. We have our Urza Saga sideboard package, Nihil Spellbomb, Soul Guide, Lantern, Needle. Again, I always like splitting on Lantern and Spellbomb because of cards like Pithing Needle from the opponent, just in case they have that. We have 2 copies of Engineered Explosives for Hammer Time, 2 copies of Chalice, mostly for Cascade because you do see that you have a lot of 1-mana cards, so you usually don't want to bring in Chalice on 1. 2 copies of Terminate, mostly for Murktide Region, 2 Alpine Moons, again, Urza Saga, Tron, that kind of stuff. 2 Fatal Push, Hammer Time, mostly Hammer Time. We have a Liliana of the Veil, which is just kind of a good value card when you need to playing a bit more of an interactive, grindy type game. And then a Necrobentia, mostly for combo decks, Cascade, Rhinos, Living End, that kind of stuff. So that is the main deck. Again, this is a donation deck that we played live on stream. It was a lot of fun, and I know we're going back-to-back days on Asmo, but this is a lot different of an Asmo deck, and I hope you'll enjoy the content. So without further ado, I will see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. It's a 1-lander. If they kill my Ragavan, my hand just doesn't function. I can't keep this hand. Okay. This hand's cool. So I can go turn 1 Epicure. No, I'm just going to go high upside and play turn 1 Ragavan. Question is, what are we putting back? I think I'm just going to put back a land. Because even if Ragavan dies, I can go Epicure on 2, and then on turn 3 I can loot the Ghoul to play the Asmo, and I get a bunch of looks at another land, so I think it's okay. Obviously, if the Ragavan lives, I just get to go completely insane. Yeah, they call the Hogak Dredge. It's obviously not Dredge. Alright. My Ragavan is dying. And I accept that. It's okay. It's fine. I can live with it. My Ragavan did not die? That literally never happens. Alright, so Epicure. And then I could use... Go Blackleaf Cliffs, loot with the Blood Token, discard Ghoul, and then cast Asmo. Ooh, and we drew Sorin? This is a draw and a half, chat. This is what we call a draw and a half. We're doing something here. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing something. Yeah, Blood's kind of cool with Saga, too, because you can make your constructs bigger. I mean, it also helped that they didn't kill a Ragavan, right? Like, let's be honest. They won this game because they didn't kill the Ragavan. I guess the game's not over yet, but... Like, we're only in this position because they didn't have an answer for my Ragavan. So they probably have a counterspell for Sorin. Oh, I see what we're doing here. So they have Remand. I see. They're not Murktide. That's why they didn't kill my Ragavan. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of sucks that I can't get a second food into play, because I might just die if they have, like, Land Electromancer and the combo rolled up. I don't want to play this into Remand, though. So, I also don't want to play this into Remand, because they just get it back, you know? So I think I'm just going to cast this, see what they do. Obviously, if they Remand this, then I'll probably just cast this, but... They are going to Remand this. Interesting. Okay, now I can play the Electromancer. Pretty freely. That's dope that they Remanded that. I guess I could have played the Sorin. But I think I'd rather get this into play so I can make at least 2 food. Because I can go end of turn. I can make a food this turn, untap, make a food to have an Asmo activation. And the Sorin's still going to be lethal anyways. Cookbook, make token, sack for Vampire. Well, isn't that the same thing as playing the Electromancer? Like, I still can't present 10 power, right? Because that's only 3, 6... It's still only 9 power. Well, if they just pass, they're dead, right? Yeah, they're dead. I'm going to upkeep... No, I don't want to upkeep it. Alright, make a food. Because now they can't cast Remand. Alright, cool. Got him. Guess they could have, like, Spell Pierce. Something weird like that. Yeah, I guess the 9th power is pretty important because it would have shut off the Islet, but... Yeah, they're dead. They did. Yeah, also putting the 1 makes another Epicure lethal, so... Yeah, it might have been better to just put the Silver Smoke Ghoul into play by sacking a food. But then I don't have a food activation for Asmo next turn. I don't know if that's relevant. Alright, so Lantern, Spell Bomb, good. Maybe Explosives in case I'm worried about Goblins? Would you bring in Necromentia against Storm? Perhaps. Liliana is decent, but it's kind of slow. Push is decent. Alpine Moon's bad. Terminate's bad. Needle bad. I mean, all of these cards are pretty reasonable, I think. I don't know what I should be cutting, but all of these cards are definitely reasonable. Could also Helix with the Epicure at that point and get back Ghoul. Yeah. I think Bloodghast is slow. I think, like, Angie and Sorin is slower than that stuff, you know? Like, I kind of want to cut some of the Angie and Sorin stuff, and the Ghoul. Like, I want to cut some of this package. Obviously not all of it, but I want to cut some of this stuff. Because I want to keep my curve low, you know? Yeah. I don't know what the correct number of this to cut is. Like, I could see cutting both Angies, and I could see cutting, like, 2 of each of these, maybe? Just keep a couple Sorins for, just, like, to you know, for some chip damage to finish them off, and keep some ghouls because they're good to discard to cookbook. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best of these sideboard cards is. Chalice is only good against Storm if you can do it on 2, so that's kind of slow, I think. So I think I'm off Chalice. And I also think they might be less reliant on mana creatures post-board. So I kind of want to do, like, Liliana, Necromentia. What do you do versus Pyromancer Ascension? Well, I have a Nihil Spellbomb and a Soul Guide Lantern. But, like, if they get it active, I don't really have much against that. There's not much I can do. I could bring in Explosives, too. Explosives is a really nice hedge, because it's good against Pyromancer Ascension. You can kill Aria Flame, and it's also just good against empty tokens. So I think I like the Explosives as a hedge. Blood Fountain? Yeah, Blood Fountain could be good in some version. I don't know what you would want to cut for Blood Fountain, but... Bony Cap 7. I'm going to keep this. It's a little risky, but they don't usually have a ton of answers to Ragavan. And we got a backup anyways, and we're on the draw. I have a Triumph, don't I? I thought this deck list had a Triumph. No, it has a Peat land, not a Triumph. Maybe it should have a Triumph. But I guess it's only for explosives. I'm still going to lead on Ragavan, I think. Played the Blood Crypt in case I draw Saga, because I want to be able to go Saga plus Black Spell, maybe. Just keep my options open. Okay. I will attack first. I think I missed a deck tech. Alright, we'll take a look at it after this match, Elhern. I don't usually do deck techs in between rounds, because I like to focus. We'll do it after this match, though. I got you. I didn't see that. You're correct. I do see it now. Thoughtseize Ragavan? Yeah, Thoughtseize Ragavan. What does Epicure do? It gives you a blood token which turns on Asmo, and you can, like, discard Bloodghast and, what you call it? Silver Smoke Ghoul, which is kind of cool. Empty, Bolt, Manamorphose, Shattering Spree, Consider. Given that I don't have an Explosives, I kind of feel like I have to take this empty. But I also kind of want to just take Bolt and play Ragavan. I mean, they have to draw what? They have to draw double, they have to draw 2 rituals to cast the empty. It's not very likely. Let's take the Bolt, actually. This might be a little greedy, but... What's up, TG? Alright, they cast the Consider. Cool. So, that's gone. Did they bin a card? They kept the card, right? Okay. So they have Shattering Spree, Manamorphose, Empty, and 2 unknowns. Yeah, I can't forget about the 1 damage. Cannot forget about the free point of damage. So if they found a ritual, now they can empty, right? Yeah, they didn't find a ritual. Ragavan is blank, though. That's not great for us. Well, this sucks. I think I just play the Cookbook and the Spellbomb. Just not be happy about it, but... And this way, if they Shattering Spree both of these, I can just discard the Bloodghast and Spellbomb them, so it's not that bad. I don't want to give... I don't think I want to put both Cookbooks in play. They drew a Ritual. That's not great. Yeah, this is looking bad. So they have Shattering Spree empty. I mean, if they go for a giant empty and they're out of resources and I peel explosives, I can definitely still win this game. What's up, Torborg? I'm doing good today. How about yourself? I made some mac and cheese today. Electromancers. They have Shattering Spree empty as their last two cards. So they're probably just going to Shattering Spree the cookbook and then cast empty. No, like real mac and cheese, not craft. Oh, no, they can do both because the empty costs 2, right? I'm an idiot. Okay. Forgot the empty cost 2. Hmm. So if my only way out of this is drawing explosives, I probably don't even want to discard the Bloodghast for a food. Because it just lose the food to the explosives anyways. Because I'd rather just wait and discard it to this one. And I think the only way I can win this game is drawing explosives. I think if I draw explosives, I'm going to win, but I only got 2 turns to find it. Alright, engineered explosives. Por favor. That is not engineered explosives. I do get a loot, though. So that's dope. We do get to loot. Okay, feels bad, man. Yeah, one more draw step. The recipe deets. See if I can find it. I found that on Food Network. I think it was the Pioneer Woman. Just search Pioneer Woman Food Network mac and cheese and you can probably find it. Alright, stun explosives. We did. Game number 3. Don't really think there's much I'm going to change. Again, I still think Chalice is kind of slow because you have to Chalice on 2. I think I'm just going to run it back. Pioneer Woman, and I don't mean Pioneer the Magic the Gathering format. I mean Pioneer Woman, the name of the, Food Network personality. Thoughtseize Cookbook, Lantern, Silver Smoke Ghoul, and lands. Okay, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with it. Dude, if Bloodghast would block, or if Bloodghast could block, it'd be so good. It's pretty damn close, Jake, man. It's pretty damn close. Alright, they're on 6. I'm going to Thoughtseize them first. What do we got? Pieces, Ritual, Visions, Visions. I'll just take Pieces. I think this game's going to be a little bit longer, so I kind of have to take the 2-for-1. I don't love it, but... Why didn't they play Spirebluff Canal first? The one thing that I learned... So every time I make mac and cheese and I bake it in the oven, it always like dries out when I have leftovers. But one thing that this recipe did that I've never done before is basically, so you make the cheese sauce. Well, I guess you make the bechamel, which is just milk and roux, and then after you make the bechamel, you whisk an egg and you like slowly mix in the egg into the bechamel and then put the cheese in. I've never done that before, and I think that's like part of what's going to like make it stay creamy, you know? Something new. I've never done that before. Alright. Lantern Cookbook, I guess? Looks like we're gonna go 3-1 beatdowns. Cancel. Next level cheese tech, yeah. If you want to make your mac and cheese creamier, there you go. There it is. That's all you gotta do. Just whisk an egg and add it into the cream sauce. Before adding the cheese. I don't know if it matters if you add the cheese first or do it after, but I did just make the cream sauce, whisk in the egg very slowly, because it's obviously the cream sauce is hot. You don't want to cook the egg, and then mix in the cheese. Bam. Cooking tips 101 from Doomwake. Yeah, you gotta temper it. That's the word that I was looking for, temper it, yeah. You don't want scrambled eggs in your mac and cheese. Okay, so they still have a ritual. What if you do? Well, then you're just weird. Heavy cream over milk? See, I think that's too much, though. Because, like, the recipe calls for 2.5 cups of milk. I think 2.5 cups of heavy cream is just, like, that's a lot. You know? Like, I don't think you want to... I've never made a bechamel with heavy cream. I've always made it with milk. I use whole milk, but... So this is your end step. Okay, let's just untap. I think this is better if I draw Asmo. It's worse if I draw Bloodghast, obviously. I guess I can just go discard Bloodghast, play land, cast Silver Smoke Ghoul, because I want to put the most amount of pressure in play, is what I'm getting at. Need maximum pressure. Be better on your own. Would have been a little bit better if I had end of turn discarded the Silver Smoke Ghoul, but it's fine. The only thing that goes into mac and cheese is hot dogs. Dylan, that's disgusting. Please, Dylan. Come on. You can't be serious. Hot dogs, mac and cheese? We need to have a talk. We need to have a talk, Dylan. Shattering Spree. So they're going to kill the cookbook and the lantern. Alright. You have one less mana. Yeah, well, I could have played the Shadow Spear, right? But I guess I still have 3 to play the Shadow Spear and equip, so it probably doesn't change much. Oh, so I can just loop the Ghoul and the Bloodghast. Dope. Or loop the Ghoul, yeah. Dude, Sorin plus Silver Smoke Ghoul is insane. That's sick, right? It's just a free Lightning Helix every single turn? That's so good. Sacrifice Vampire when you do... Yeah, okay. So, plus... Sacrifice a Vampire, this one. Domia. Is lobster mac and cheese healthy? I mean, mac and cheese in general is probably not the healthiest thing in the world, but... Lobster mac and cheese is incredibly good. It's not good for you because it has cheese and pasta and cream and all that stuff, but... Who cares when it tastes good, right? I had a lobster grilled cheese when I went to Vegas, and... Let me tell you. That stuff was unbelievably good. I didn't have like whole like cooked lobster, but we went to this one place that had a lobster grilled cheese, and it was out of this world. Out of this world. Well, I think we can actually beat Goblin Tokens this game, because I can just keep looping the Sorin. So I can keep draining them with Sorin. So I think we can maybe beat... Yeah, because now they're at 3, so they're just dead to Sorin. Poutine mac and cheese. Poutine mac and cheese. It's a lobster melt? Yeah, I guess you can call it a lobster melt. So they're gonna kill... Okay, they're gonna kill Sorin. They're gonna kill him as stiff. If I draw land, I can go get back Bloodghast, play Shadow Spear equip. How about a Sorin? Oh, now I can just sack the food token, play Shadow Spear, end of turn, get this back. Right? Sack food token, play Shadow Spear, end of turn, get this back, untap, play Sorin, kill them. I think I like that. Does the Rakdos list have a worst matchup? I mean, you have main deck Blood Moon, so you're like fine against big mana. You have discard spells. You have Fury, so you're good against creatures. I guess like maybe Control, but even against Control, you just have like Grief, Feign Death, which is pretty good. I'm not really sure what that deck's bad matchups would be. Again, I've only played one league with it, so like it's hard for me to say. But like the decks that we played against, it felt like we had good game against all of them. You know, it didn't really feel like we were behind against anything specifically. Maybe like dedicated combo, but even then you have Thoughtseizes and you have some game. Empty for 2 tokens. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see the empty for 2 tokens. I guess they could have bolts, but no bolts. All right, chat, we got him. We got him, chat. 1-0. Let's go. Bloodghast Sorin 5 lands, huh? Should we keep Bloodghast Sorin 5 lands? I don't think so. I think that's bad. Yeah, Sand's a little land light, but I kind of want to keep the second Bloodghast as more fodder to discard to cookbooks, so especially like on the draw, the second Ragavan is kind of medium. Okay, I'm still gonna lead on Ragavan. And then if they kill Ragavan, I can go Cookbook, discard Bloodghast, play land, play Asmo. I saw them with Under Oath and Code a few months before COVID hit. Yeah. I've listened to Circus Survive a little bit. Not a ton, but... So this is Reanimator, probably? It smells like Reanimator. Oh. See, that's awkward, because I have to play the Saga. I guess that's fine, right? I could just go play Saga, play Cookbook, play Asmo, and just get the Bloodghast back next turn. Because I think it's more important to get the... Yeah, to get the Saga going. Especially if they're playing Reanimator. Because I do have a main deck Graveyard Hate piece. I do... Oh, no, I don't, actually. Never mind. Okay. I think this is still fine. Dash it next turn? Nah, I think I'd rather do this. I think I like this better. Alright, let's attack first. Let's make a food. Get these back, and then we'll just pass. Some good pressure. Faithful Bending. So even if they Archon me, I could just sack a Bloodghast and kill the Archon. So they need to have Prismatic Ending and Persist. We also just don't have the Archon, so that works. You know, it's a lot easier when they don't have the Archon. So they're 18. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 next turn. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's actually 9, 12, 16. It's actually 16 next turn. The song is good. I like the song. Mold Drifter. If they Ephemerate, I think I am going to kill it. Yeah, I'm just going to kill it. Alright, so make a homie. Chapter 3, make another homie. I'm going to get a book, because I want to be able to put 2 food into play. Because I want to make sure I have another Asmo activation. So I'm just going to go discard Ghoul, discard Book. They take 9, 13, they go to 4. And we are chilling. So they have main deck Verdict, but they don't usually have main deck Verdict, right? That's certainly not going to do it. Urza Saga, still a hell of a card. Still good. Still a good Magic card. Main deck Dam? No, not anymore. They could put Archon into play and then just die. Guess they could have Solitude? Does Solitude get them out of this? So I sack a Bloodghast, they go to 8. I don't think Solitude gets them out of this. Right? 4... No, I don't think Solitude gets them out of this. I'm just gonna tap. Because I can make another food. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Solitude doesn't get them out of this. Well, yeah, it's just dead on board still. Solitude, a token, still take 8. They could have double Solitude, I guess? But then they have no cards in their hand? Yeah, they have to have double Solitude. Alright. Still 8 damage. Cool. They're dead. Lit. Lit. Alright, so against Reanimator, we want Lantern, we want Spell Bomb. Definitely don't want Liliana. Potentially Terminate. I'm not in love with Terminate because I feel like you lose most of the games where you make those exchanges. I kind of want Necromentia. Alright, Spell Bomb seems kind of sketchy. I guess I'll keep... I'm not even... I really don't like Thoughtseize against them. Especially on the draw. What if I just have no Thoughtseizes and play Terminates? I think I actually like that better. Sarah's Emissary would have gotten them there. Yeah, I guess they could name Creature. Yeah, I actually don't have a good answer to Sarah's Emissary, which that's a reason to have Terminate. That's a good reason for Terminate. His hand is no bueno. They don't always have main deck Emissary, but Chalice on 2, it's really slow. I do agree with you that it does look pretty good, but it's just kind of slow, you know? Should I lead on Cookbook or Ragavan? I think it's actually better if they ending my Ragavan, because then I kind of need the Cookbook to be able to play the Asmo. Yeah, I'm actually gonna lead on Ragavan. I think I would much rather have them kill the Ragavan than the Cookbook, which seems kind of weird to say, but Lily answers Angel. Yeah, I guess it's not horrible, but like you can never plus Liliana against the Reanimator deck, you know. Liliana is basically just like it only has one use, you know. Alright, so let's go Cookbook. Discard Bloodghast. It's also really sick that Bloodghast is protection against Archon triggers, because you can just sack the Bloodghast and then Asmo down the Archon, which is pretty sick. Solitude. Oh, they have Solitude Ephemerate. Yeah, that's bad. That is not great for me. Okay. Yeah, that's worst possible. They don't have a land, I guess, but... Question is, do I want to play either of these? I'm going to play the Shadow Spear. Not the Cookbook, though. Lessons from this week: Ragavan eating rule is pretty good for our strategies. Yeah, it's like, even in decks where you don't think Ragavan would be that good because you don't have a lot of removal, and this is what I was saying earlier in the video, or earlier in the stream, is like Ragavan being a Lightning Rod for removal. It's a card that has to be answered, and it's like, if you're playing a synergistic strategy, it makes a lot of sense because it always eats a removal spell. It's one less removal spell for your other stuff. So they got Faithful Mending, which means I'm just gonna pass. I think I don't want to terminate the Solitude. How do we give Ragavan Double Strike? I don't think we do. Has Asmo Food been going for you? It's been decent. I've liked it so far. Well, Darren Epicure. Let's cast that. Some more game objects. 2 game objects. It's the Red Thraben Inspector. So they're already down 2 Ephemerates. I don't really think I can play around a 3rd one, but... So they discarded Wright's Archon. Okay, that's fine. I'll sack the Epicure. Discard the Cookbook. I really want to find a land here. Obviously can't discard the Terminate. Yeah, so I can't afford to make a Saga token, which does kind of suck. Okay, so with this trigger on the stack, I actually want to terminate the Archon because I want to get Soul Guide Lantern. So with this on the stack, I'm going to terminate the Archon. Then I'm going to float a mana, get Soul Guide. So then I can Soul Guide their Archon. And then I guess just equip the Construct? Yeah, so I can go equip the Construct and then discard the Silver Smoke Ghoul. And then get the Ghoul back, right? It's kind of cool. So they take 8, I gain 8, get this back. Do we have Springleaf? Well, I mean, Springleaf would have been okay there, but like... Oh, yeah, because I could... Yeah. Because I could have made the Construct and then used the new Construct for Springleaf mana. Brief. Ban it, chat. Ban it. Get it out of here. Why is that card not banned already? It's a travesty. It's an absolute travesty. Okay, so... I think I'm going to keep looping the Silver Smoke Ghoul here. So I might as well do this pre-combat. Ooh, that could be good for next turn. Alright, let's attack for 8. That one could be good next turn, chat. And then pass. Because we can start getting stuff... Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. I guess we can't sack the Ghoul this turn, but... I wonder if they have another Solitude. I feel like if they had Solitude, they probably would have attacked with the Grief. So let's just wait. Drew Nihil Spellbomb. Alright, so I think I want to start by attacking with the Construct to see if they have Solitude and or Ephemerate. So let's attack first and see what's up. Okay, no Solitude. So we're at 31. Whenever it or another vampire enters the battlefield, create a blood token. I still probably should just cast this, right? Is that better than sacrificing this? I think it is. Just use my mana better. I should have main phased this, because I get a blood token, but... So it's 1 more damage with this. So yeah, I should have main phased this. For sure. Cool. Next turn, we can really start going off. Just gotta wait 1 more turn. Has anybody tried the Ban Gauntlet yet? I played 2 leagues with it last night for Baggins. I went 2-1 with Eldrazi and 3-0 with the Ponza deck. And we're going to play a little bit on Saturday, in between rounds of the challenge. Or when I inevitably drop from the challenge in 0-2. So they discarded Archon, Faithful Mending. Okay, my turn. Bloodghast, huh? So this is sacrifice another creature or a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay, so I can sack this to draw a card. It's 10. See, the problem with sacrificing this... Oh, no, because if they Solitude, then I still gain life and I get this back anyways, so... Yeah, let's draw a card first. Drew a Sorin. Okay, let's cast Nihil Spellbomb. Now I can't activate Angie. That was bad. I should have just held up Angie activation. I don't want to attack and get double blocked, I think. What's this? Flashback Mending, sure. They find Ephemerate? They did. Yeah, because now I can't sack this to Angie. And I'm actually gonna lose my Angie too. Can't do anything about it. Okay, that dies. At 41, I'm gonna get the ghoul back. I guess I'm just gonna pass. I mean, now they're just gonna hardcast Archon, right? I guess I could loot with the blood token to try and find a land. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. Yeah, because now they exile Angie, which kind of sucks. Do get a blood token, but... Yeah, I got ultra mega punished for playing that spell bomb. I'm gonna play my first tournament with Rhinos on Sunday. Which version would you recommend? Team or 4-color? My last deck is elemental, so I have the cards, but I don't know which was best. I've been recommending Teamer with main deck Blood Moons. And there should be a list in the... If you go to !decks, plural, there should be a deck list there. It should say, like, Teamer Rhinos main deck Moon or something, but that's the one I would recommend. I've been a big fan of main deck Blood Moon and Teamer. Persist the Archon. I want to draw a card, so I'll just sack the Spell Bomb. Okay, we found a Bloodstained Mire. I mean, I guess the nice thing about this is we still have Sorin plus Silver Smoke Ghoul. So we still kind of have that going for us. Let's go untap. So I think I probably should equip the Shadow Spear, because even if they trade, I still get the ghoul back. So I think it's kind of a free equip. It's a 4-2, so if they double block, I can kill both. Well, I don't know why they would double block, yeah. Okay, so now we can go discard Bloodghast, get back Bloodghast, get a Swamp, play Sorin, sacrifice this. I want to kill the Solitude in case they draw, what you call it, Ephemerate. But I mean, if they just hardcast Archon, I'm not in the best spot, you know? Mole Drifter. Okay. I'm at 51. That's a lot of life, huh? Do I get any awards for getting above 50? I don't know if I get awards for being above 50, but... South to got ties. Fatal Push. Oh, they want a main phase, so I can't draw a card. Sure, makes sense. Oh no, they didn't trigger Revolt. What am I saying? I thought they triggered Revolt. They obviously thought they triggered Revolt too. Alright, so play this. Get back Bloodghast. Quit Bloodghast. Attack with both. Probably trade for the ghoul. I should trade for the ghoul, right? Mr. Sari, thank you very, very much for the raid. I appreciate that. Hope you had a good stream. Alright, so sack this, dome you. We're gonna hold up the cookbook and just rebuy the... Oh no, that thing got exiled. I can get Epic here because they're at 2. Sure. I get a good life number badge, yeah. Persist the Solitude. I'll sack this. Send up again. And they have 2 cards in hand. What you got, opponent? They have Solitude. Okay, I'll just sack it. I just need to find a land. Cool. They're dead! We won the game at 60 life, chat. The sand's slow, but it does have a saga. I think I'm still going to ship it. It's just too slow. I don't love this hand, but I think on the play with Ragavan, I'm going to keep it and just put back my 4-drop. And just pray. I need you to pray with me, chat. I need you to pray with me. Don't kill my Ragavan. Don't touch it. Don't do anything to my Ragavan. Just cast Thoughtseize. Yes! Well, I mean, it's not ideal, because they're probably going to take the cookbook, but... We'll draw into the cookbook. Thoughtseize bug? Oh, they're playing the Grief deck, okay. Alright, cool. Monkey dead. Well, now we're fucked. Yeah, this is bad. This is no bueno. Better off alone. I'm gonna get swamped just in case they randomly have Blood Moon. I don't ever need more than 1 red source. That's a start. They probably have Blood Moon though, so. Ooh, we got the dodge Blood Moon? And we drew a second Saga? I think I'm going to hold on to that one, because I want to get full value out of both of them. Is there a card that's BP, target creature you control, phases out? B/P, as in black or Phyrexian mana? No. I don't even think there's a single black card that says something phases out. You're talking about, like, to go with Grief. I mean, you could just play Feign Death, Undying Evil, you know, Maliki Rebirth. There's plenty of that stuff that's available, right? Like, why do you need more of that effect? Alright, well, we went from being completely dead to probably can't lose. Remember that turn where we mulliganed, kept a 1-lander, got our best card discarded, and our Ragavan got Furied, and then we drew a land, and then we drew another land, and then our opponent died. Because I drew a land. Like, come on. Come on. I can't. I just drew a land and my opponent literally couldn't win. Yeah, see, the thing is with you, if you phase a Grief, like, if you phase a Grief with the trigger on the stack, you don't get the ETB effect. Phasing works differently than, like, coming back into play, you know? So if you phase something, you don't get ETB triggers. Alright, so they're playing Rakdos Evoke, Grief, Feign Death, Undying Evil, that kind of stuff. The Graveyard Hate is good because they have Kroxa. Needle stinks. Chalice Explosives both stink. Terminate, medium. Moon stinks. Push. I mean, they have Ragavan, but Liliana's pretty good. There's not much that I want to do here. I think Thoughtseize is atrocious against them. I'm going to bring in 1 push. I mean, in general, I like keeping 7-card hands against grief decks, but this one's a little questionable. We can lead on Epicure, and then if I miss on land, I can cycle Bloodghast. This hand is really good if we draw a couple lands. I think I'm going to ship it, though. Man, remember in the intro when I said I was, like, not sure if you wanted to play 24 lands because I thought it was too many? How many one-landers have I had so far in our 24-land deck? I feel like it's a considerable number. Is their deck one DRC? No, their deck doesn't play DRC. It's just Ragavan. I mean, it might be. It might be. I'm mostly just, like, kind of, spewing some nonsense. It's probably just variance. But it's like, I just find it. I'm mostly just pointing out the fact that I think it's funny that I complained about there being too many lands in the intro, and now I'm having all these one-landers, That's all I'm saying. It is just variance, for sure. Solution 27 lands. Just play Rakdos Amulet. Kroxa. I got a card to discard to that one, let me tell you. I got a card to discard to that one. Give me a Saga, please. Can I draw an Urza Saga? Oh, they have Surgical. They're tanking, so they have Surgical for sure. Rip. Rip. I guess I could have just played Asmo there. Yeah, I probably should have discarded Cookbook. Discard Cookbook. Play Asmo. Yeah, I should have played Asmo there. Did I play you could discard before opening hand to see how your deck was stacked before next game? When you could concede before opening hand to see how your deck was stacked before next game. No, I didn't. I've never heard of that. E for 1, huh? Okay, dash. Go. A bit controversial? I can imagine. I can imagine it being a controversial. What makes you say that? Hold on, let me look at the deck list again, because I'm assuming they're playing the same deck list. Did I delete it? No, I didn't delete it. So, instant speed removal. There's 2 Spike Field Hazards. Kolaghan's Command, which they can't cast. Because, like, the list that I played was all in on Dreadbore and had no Terminates. So it's literally just 2 Spike Field Hazards is the only card they have here? If they're playing the same list that I played. Alright, let's untap. I mean, it's probably still just better to cast Sorin anyways, but... Yeah, I'm just going to play Sorin, I think. Because then I can go Sorin, Uptick. And then next turn I can go make a food, crack a food, get back the ghoul, and then start the Sorin Ghoul chain. I guess this is bad if they have Dreadbore. Yeah, I guess this kind of stinks if they have Dreadbore, huh? Because I'm not actually getting anything out of the Sorin. Also, if they pop explosives, I have to decide if I want to discard a card for... No, because I can just make a food off of this one. I'm not going to sack anything. Okay, they're choosing not to pop the explosives. They're going to Dreadbore this. As expected. Maybe I should have Dash Monkey. Oh no, if I Dash Monkey, they have the explosives. What am I saying? I'm an idiot. Alright, so now we can go Dash Ragavan. Attack. We got a Feign Death. Okay, so I can go... Ooh, this is kind of cool. So I can go discard Cookbook, cast Asmo, get a Cookbook, Feign Death, the Asmo, sack the Asmo to that, get another Cookbook, and then pass. That was a cool play. And I'm still only committing 2 things to the explosives. And now I have a 4/4 Asmo with 2 foods. So, why isn't this deck jamming Morophon? Because it's only good with Sorin? I don't know. Maybe you could. But, like, what else does Morophon even do for you? What's the text on Morophon? So, you choose a creature type, so you would name Vampire, and it makes all of your vampires cost Wooburg less. I mean, the problem is, like, you don't have that many vampires, right? Like, this costs 2 mana, whatever. It doesn't even let you play Bloodghast for free. It's like... Yeah, it's kind of weird. What's this? Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. That does kind of blank the Ragavan pretty nicely. Is it worth running Bauble without Luris? I don't think so. So they have Fury... Oh, okay, I see. So they shocked because they have Feign Death. But if I target the Fury now, they get the Feign Death, the Fury, which they're going to do anyway, so I guess I just target the Seasoned Pyromancer. Because, again, if I target the Fury, they easily have Feign Death. And if they want to Feign Death the Pyromancer and not keep the Fury, I'm okay with that. I think that's a win for me. Oh, they have Village Rights. Okay, it looks like they have Village Rights, which I guess is the same thing. It's whatever. But I played around Feign Death by killing the Pyromancer there. I know it looked a little weird to kill the Pyromancer, but... Ooh. Actually doesn't really do that much, right? I don't really want to commit more 1-mana cards to the explosives. Guess I can just plus the Sorin now. I could also just go discard Ragavan, sack food, get back Silver Smoke Ghoul, leave up 2 mana to either sack the Ghoul to draw a card. Maybe that's just better, actually. Because I don't really want to commit the Sorin until I can do something with it. I think, because they have 4 Dreadbores. I don't know if they brought in the extra Dreadbores, but... I think this is fine. I want to listen to a song right now. Love this song. Dothy Voidwalker. It's a problem. That is a problem. I guess I should draw a card. That's not great. Yeah, that's a little less fun. I guess I forgot about that card. I should have brought in Fatal Push. I think I brought in one of the pushes. I'll bring in the second one for next game. Maybe even the Terminates. Really needed a land that was... Well, I need a land that's untapped, so I can go Epicure and then sack the Epicure to kill the Voidwalker. So I think this turn is just going to be Epicure, Cookbook, Land. And then if they flash back Crooks, I can discard the other Cookbook. Yeah, but then I'm just going to lose the Crooks, so... I guess I could loot now to try and find a Soul Guide or a Spellbomb to get the Croxa. I probably have to, actually. I can't beat the Croxa. Yeah, alright, I'm just gonna concede. I just can't beat the Croxa. Alright, let's bring in Push. I don't want Necromentia. Oh, well, the Pirate Spellbomb deals with Voidwalker. I'll keep the Pirate Spellbomb. Maybe this Liliana's kind of cap. Alright, let's do this. To be in the play, which is good. It looks like a mediocre hand, and it is a mediocre hand, but it has 7 cards, which is very important against these decks. It has a curve, you know. Pirate into Bloodghast into Sorin is not a bad curve. We got that thing covered. Alright, so Oven, pass, kill Ragavan in combat, terminate for more removal. The only good cards in their deck to actually kill are exactly Voidwalker. Like, it's okay to kill Croxa, I guess, but you'd rather just have a Spellbomb or a Lantern to deal with it that way. So, I'm not, like, a huge fan of that stuff. It's not bad, but... So now I can go Bloodghast, sack, get it back. Just kind of cool. Ingot Chewer. That's not good. Okay. I just gotta be mana efficient here, I think. Sucks that they have Dreadbore, but... Terminate can also kill Fury and Grief. Yeah, I guess that's fair. If they do, like, the Fury Feign Death stuff, Terminate's a little bit better. You could justify it. I'm not sure what I would want to cut, though, but it's not unreasonable to bring in Terminate, yeah. Alright, they did have the Dreadbore. It stinks. I'm just going to hold the land. I might want to discard it to Cookbook. Sorin has been an unplaced card in your hand the last few games. It's just bad RNG. I mean, if you look at the first 2 matches, Sorin looked really good. So I think it's just like the way that the games have been playing out. Discarded Blood Moon. What if they have another one? Saga? Yeah, it's not great. Blade Chow with the gifted sub. Thank you very, very much for the gifted sub. How the heck are you doing today, buddy? Appreciate the support. Black Chancellor is a Sorin payoff. You're not wrong. Those are words. Those are certainly words. Alright, no blocks. Should I cycle the Spellbar or cycle the Lantern? Yeah, I gotta find some action. Let's get rid of this for Kolaghan's command purposes, but I gotta find some action. It's not really action. I'm doing good, doing good. Playing some Vampires. Getting absolutely clapped by Rakdos Evoke. Yeah, they added a lot of new Phyrexia stuff to Phyrexian creature types. I think anything that had a watermark on it is now a Phyrexian creature type. I shouldn't have fetched there, that was dumb. Aether Vial Vampire deck? Yeah. Aether Vial would be kind of cool in this deck. Epicure, Asmo. I wonder what you would cut for Vials at that point. Well, I kind of it's like depends on the texture of your hand at Malcolm, right? But yeah, for the most part, if you have the Blood Moon, or even if you don't, depending on the matchup, like, okay, think about it this way: if you're playing, even if you don't have the Blood Moon in hand, if you're playing a matchup where Blood Moon is good, prioritize fetching basics. But if you're playing a matchup where Blood Moon is bad and you're not likely to cast the Blood Moon anyways, even if you draw it, then it's like you don't really have to do that, you know. But it really all depends on like what the matchup is. I keep the backup Asmo, I think. Just gonna get a book and pass. Probably sack the food. I think I'm in pretty bad shape, but I think the issue with this matchup is they have this card. And I think that's like the biggest problem for us is because we can't. It's harder for us to play a long game where we're trading resources when they just have 3-mana 2/2 draw 2 cards. It's like impossible for us to play long against a deck that has 4 of this card. So it's just like fundamentally just an awkward matchup in that regard. Shatter that and shock me. Okay. Would our deck want Pyromancer? I mean, it's kind of hard to cast, right? It blows up their tokens. It is a little bit hard to cast, especially with Saga, because like if you look at it, like the way that our mana is we have like Bloodghast on 2, but I guess most of the time we're just discarding Bloodghast to Cookbook anyways, or Blood tokens, so maybe it's not that bad. Leaving back a Pyromancer to block, huh? Alright, attack. I actually don't want to play the land, because I want to just put Asmo to play. I'm going to hold on to the book, though. I think they have something like Fury in their hands. They have another Explosives. Just trades 1 for 1. I'm okay with that. Totally fine. This game's not over yet. This game is not over yet. So I can rebuy... I guess I can start rebuying Asmos. Let's do that, probably. Yeah, Ragavan Treasure, we could put Springleaf Drum in. Yeah, I guess, like, it's kind of cool that Pyromancer plays nicely with Bloodghast and Silver Smoke Ghoul, too, huh? Interesting. I don't think you would want to cut Sorin, but... Okay, that's fine, I can just push that. Oh, they probably have Feign Death in their hand. That's why they haven't been doing anything. They almost certainly have Feign Death. I can't really play around it, but... Yeah, god damn it. That makes sense as to why they weren't casting spells. Shit. Alright, we're in bad shape now. This is like kind of been... This game has been closer than I thought it was going to be. Like, when they played the second Pyromancer, I thought we had no chance. And I think outside of that Voidwalker, this game might have been decently close. Yeah, we're not beating that. Not beating that one. Get a Sedge. Good beats. I got you, Cups. I got you. That deck's sweet. I don't think I ever actually played it. Basic Plains, no Luris. I think I lead on Ragavan. It's high upside again. So this is Hammer Time, no Luris. Okay. Yeah, that'll assist. Second Thoughtseize is not bad. I'm just going to offer the trade. My deck doesn't have a lot of removal anyways. So trade's going to happen no matter what. So we can double Thoughtseize them this turn. I still have to slog through 2 Sagas, but it's not going to be easy to slog through 2 Sagas. But so something a couple of months ago, 2K is a lot of fun, went 3-3 a lot of packet. People got pissed off at Settle the Wreckage. Yeah, I assume you probably get some good meme value from Settle the Wreckage. So they played Plains. I guess probably just double spelling here. Actually, no, it makes more sense to do it this way. Just cast this, discard the Bloodghast, then crack the fetch. Yeah, this is way better. Pog. I don't want to shock here. Alright, it's not a bad turn. Again, I don't know that we're going to be able to beat 2 Sagas, but Moonsaga right now seems correct. Yeah, if I was playing Rhinos this weekend, which I might play Rhinos in the challenge, I would definitely play Teamer with main deck Blood Moon, just given how much Saga and how much big mana there is going around. I am a big fan of main deck Blood Moon right now. So they have Saga clearing X. Saga clearing X. I'm just going to take the hit. I'm going to start chump blocking when they're bigger. Okay, that helps. That's actually insane, right? Because I can just... Oh, I got an idea here, chat. You're going to like this play. If they block, I can kill the other constructs. This just looks like a free attack. Oh, they called? That is so good for me. Oh, it's so good for me. That's so good for me. Because it just looks like a free attack, right? You know? Just gonna, like, play my land and get back my Bloodghast. Okay. So they have Silent Clearing, Hammer, one unknown. Question is, can we erase the Hammer? Interesting. So I can go Dash Ragavan, attack for 3, loot the Silver Smoke Ghoul with the Blood Token, and then sack the Epicure to get back the Ghoul, right? Think that's my best line? Yeah, so let's go Dash Ragavan. Because they can't make a token with this turn. Attack for 3. We got an Ornithopter. I'll take a free blocker. Could be potentially important. So now let's go discard Silver Smoke Ghoul. Sack a Vamp. I guess I could have also just given the... Yeah, I could have given the Ragavan lifelink and not have to do this, right? Yeah, I could have just given the Ragavan lifelink, huh? Why did I do that? I probably should have given the Ragavan lifelink. Get back the Bloodghast. Get back this. Yeah, I should have just given the Ragavan lifelink. That would have been better. I would have had to sack the Epicure this way. So you need gain 3? Yeah, but the Ragavan gets lifelink from the Sorin. The Ragavan gets +1/+1 and lifelink. It wouldn't get a counter? Oh, if it's a vampire, put a counter on it. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Right, I forgot. I thought it was just +1/+1 lifelink. Okay, never mind, yeah. Never mind. Okay, well, I'm probably still going to lose. Because they could just go equip, or make a token, block, flash in hammer, untap, play second hammer, equip Shadow Spear. So it seems like we're still going to lose. I don't think there's anything I can draw. Certainly not Ragavan. That one might have done it, but I don't have enough food. I don't have any food. Because I can cast it off of the treasure. This... Yeah, it doesn't work. Shoot! Alright, we're dead. Damn it. Zero, thank you for the 4 months. Really appreciate you, buddy. Hope you're having a good day today. Alright, Fatal Push coming in. Alpine Moon coming in. Terminate probably coming in. Explosives coming in. Not a big fan of Chalice. Maybe I want Chalice. Let's cut the Angies. I'm gonna do what I did last time and cut some of the more expensive clunky stuff. I actually don't really like Thoughtseize against them either. Ragavan's probably bad. Let's keep in, like, maybe 2 Thoughtseizes. Let's try 2 Thoughtseizes. Alright, let's go. Chalice with so many 1-drops. Well, yeah, maybe that's bad. I mean, I guess the theory is, like, you can just kind of lock them out, but it's probably not good enough. Turn 1 hammer. Okay. So we can go discard Ghoul, play Saga, get back Bloodghast, sack of food, get back Silver Smoke Ghoul. We're doing some stuff. We're doing stuff and things. If you're still Paladin, so we're dead. Enjoyable games. Brought to you by Hammer Time. I guess I could jump block. Should have attacked first. Yeah, I should have attacked with Bloodghast first. Whatever, they're not blocking anyways. So we're dead to Steel Shaper's Gift or Shadow Spear. Alright, you win. Alright, sounds good. Turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Saga Cookbook. Well, if they don't kill Ragavan, we get to play turn 2 Sorin, so... I just really fucking hope this isn't Hammer Time again. Please just don't let's play against Hammer Time again. Please, just play a Blood Crypt or something. Oh. They just F6 through their first turn? Okay. Or they get to No-Lander? I like how they said good luck, big fan, after they discarded for their turn. Whoops. Awkward. So I guess they're playing Burn. Awkward. Oh, man. Well, this is awkward, chat. This is awkward. Skullcrack. Skill crack, you mean? I played Jun Saga less in FNM, but forgot to build a sideboard, so played Hammer, went 4-0. Nice. Nice, nice. Nice that you went 4-0. Less nice that you played Hammer Time, though. Lightning Bolt the Ragavan. Okay. I think I'm just going to plus here. Make a Saga token. Pass turn. Bloodstained Mire. Goblin Guide. I think I'm not going to chump block the Goblin Guide. So maybe just set up a Shadow Spear next turn. Potentially. We'll see what happens. They are attacking me with both. Okay. I'll take 2 lands. I don't even have the Shadow Spear, because this thing gives it lifelink already, right? Yeah. So I can just go make a second token, get a book, play second book, make a huge construct. Yeah. Show us the Spotify Wrapped. I still can't find it on my desktop. I can do it on my mobile phone. I just haven't had time to, like, go through and, what you call it? I haven't had time to go through and just, like, do another, you know what I mean? Upload all the stuff to Twitter or whatever. It's only chemical. It's a lot of Olivia Rodrigo. I'll leave it at that. And you can parse the rest of it as you will. Discard land that is either or instead of a basic. Oh, come on, man. What if they have Blood Moon? I guess keeping the basic mountain against Blood Moon is kind of whatever, but I don't know. We're in garbage time, Eli. Come on. We're in garbage time. Bring in Push, I think. I don't like explosives against Burn. I think Chalice is actually kind of slow on the draw. Also, I have a lot of 1s. I don't want the graveyard stuff. I don't want Needle. Terminate, really inefficient against their creatures. Alpine Moon sucks. Yeah, it's really just Push. And I think I'm just going to cut Angie, because it's just painfully slow. I guess I could cut Thoughtseize. The cool thing about Thoughtseize is, like, getting the trade for Skullcrack is really important, because I just have so much life gain in my deck. And I think Thoughtseize is better than most of the cards in my sideboard. I'm just going to keep them in. It's a bolt downgrade. Yeah, like at worst, you Thoughtseize your opponent and take a Lava Spike, and you're just like you're up a damage, right? You're trading for the Lava Spike, you're taking 1 less damage, and that's like the worst case scenario for Thoughtseize, you know? And best case scenario is you get to take like a Deflecting Palm or a Smash of Smithereens or a Skullcrack, and it's like, you know, when you're trying to set up like these really important turns where you're like attacking with a construct that has a Shadow Spear on it, getting to take the Skullcrack or those kinds of cards seems really important, I think. Yeah, Eidolon 2. Well, sure. I'm saying if you cast it in the early turns, right? Like if you cast it on turn 1 or turn 2, that's like the floor on Thoughtseize, right? I think I'm gonna lead on Epic here. No, I should still lead on Cookbook, right? But I want to play this as a red source, so I can play Epic here on 2. Yeah, no, I like this. This is good. Probably just gonna crack a food next turn, honestly. Especially if they tap out. Yeah. I'm just gonna go end step, discard Bloodghast, untap, discard Ghoul, play land, get back Bloodghast, sack food, get back Ghoul. Yeah, this is sick. There's a Sorin on top too? My goodness. My goodness. This is what we call a beatdown. Alright. Discard Ghoul, crack food, get back Ghoul. Easy. What's up with everyone playing Grixis Shadow in leagues? I mean, it did so well last week. You know, it was probably the best performing deck of the weekend last week, so. Yeah, we're gonna play Eli's Humans deck next week, and I expect to lose to Fury every single round. Just throwing that out there, Eli. You and I both know that's gonna happen, and it just is what it is. You know, you can't. There's not much you can do about that. It is what it is. Eli has never lost to Fury ever. Alright, so I'm going to attack with both. Because I kind of have to kill a creature here, right? I still could actually lose this game. I want to go Sorin, uptick, kill probably Swift Spear. Because then I go to 11. Is there any way I can gain more life than 3 this turn? Like, I guess I can plus on the ghoul and gain 4, but then I'm not killing a creature, which is essentially a wash anyways. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go play Sorin, attack with both, and then go uptick here, sacrifice the ghoul, kill the Swift Spear, and then ship it. So I'm at 11. This might be a little dicey, huh? Sack the Bloodghast instead and leave the blocker. But then I don't get the Bloodghast back. I guess it doesn't really matter if I get the Bloodghast back that turn. Yeah, it's probably the same thing, right? They revealed an Asmo, which is actually pretty good. Unless they have 3 1-minute spells. I mean, yeah, I could just die, I guess, but... I know Bloodghast can't block. What they were saying is sack the Bloodghast, like attack with the Bloodghast, play Sorin, sack the Bloodghast, leave back the Silver Smoke Will to block. Which may have been better. Oh, they're just going to kill Sorin. That's totally fine by me. I don't really think they're winning a game, and I guess they... Yeah, I don't know. No, they're going to leave Sorin at 2. Okay, well, they're super dead. I'm going to choose to not make a token, I think. No, I think I can actually make a token. Yeah, this is probably fine. So, let's get a book. Think. Yeah, get a book. And then I can go... Sack the Bloodghast, kill the Eidolon, play land, get back Bloodghasts. Play this, get back Bloodghasts. Discard Epicure. Cast Asmo. Yeah, this game's over. Attack for 3. I guess I could have attacked first, but... Garbage time. Black Widow by In This Moment. I don't know if I've heard of that song. I do know In This Moment. I don't know if I've heard that song, though. ELDSGG, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Chad, I hope you're having a great night tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to follow the stream if you have Twitch Prime. Make sure to check and see if that is available. And just have a good time, you know? Donation decks, it's always a fun time. Yeah, we'll play it after the song. Classic button mashing. How the hell am I supposed to know? Alright, 3-2. Not too bad. 3-2. We lost to Hammer Time and Rakdos Grief. Overall, deck felt decent. So one thing that we did talk about during the league is adding Seasoned Pyromancer to the deck, and I think the card that I was least impressed with is Ragavan. And what I kind of want to do is cut the Ragavans, and I don't know if maybe just cut them straight up for Seasoned Pyromancer, or if you wanted to play, you know, less copies, more copies, but I want to try a couple Seasoned Pyromancers in this deck, because I think being able to discard Silver Smoke Ghoul, Bloodghast, just gives you a little bit more utility, helps play a grindier game better. Angie was okay. We didn't really cast it that often. It was fine. Maybe, you know, 4 mana is kind of a tough sell, too. Maybe Angie could go. I get that it's like your top end, but do you really need a top end? You know? And she felt kind of medium, huh? Do you like Pierce the Veil? I do like Pierce the Veil. See Brad on Twitter mentioned on Design Merc tab, but no knowledge of express for it. Yeah, so I could maybe see cutting Angie's. What exactly is Florian? Let's see what Florian is. I kind of vaguely remember this card. Maybe your post-combat main phase. Oh yeah, look at the top X. Yeah, I remember this one. More 3-drops though. I feel like if I was gonna cut Angie, it would be for like a 2 or a 1-drop. Is there any other creatures that come back from the graveyard that we can play with Cookbook besides Bloodghast and Silver Smoke Ghoul? Play a couple Oval Chases, yeah. That might not be the worst. Just like 2 Oval Chases instead of the Angies. But Angie felt kind of medium. I like the idea of Pyromancer a lot. I think Pyromancer is going to be insane in this deck. But Angie felt kind of medium. Could just play Lurrus. What about just main deck Lurrus? That's actually not a bad idea either, right? Main deck Lurrus, then you can... Well, I guess you're not rebuying a ton with Lurrus. I guess you can, like, sack Epicure and then keep rebuying it. But... yeah, but definitely Pyromancer over Ragavan, potentially something for Angie. I'm not sure what I would want to play instead. I could see trimming a land. 24 felt a little heavy at times, but it's probably fine. It's pronounced Anya. Is it? Anya? Croaks is kind of awkward with Saga, that's the issue. That's why I don't like Croaks that much. Sideboard felt fine. I'm not in love with Chalices, because, like, you can't really Chalice on 1 with all these 1-drops. I know it's really just for Cascade, but I think I'd maybe try to find something else instead of that. But yeah, everything else felt pretty good. It's a sweet deck. Anya? Anya. Would Mayhem Devil be decent? It's only really good with Asmo, because you don't actually sacrifice... Well, I guess you have Sorin, you have Blood Tokens... Mayhem Devil could be okay. It's a little narrow, though. I guess you sack Sagas, too. You have a decent number of stuff to sacrifice. I wonder if this deck also maybe just wants to play Oven Cat. Like more, like a second Oven and 2 Cats or something instead of the Angies. Mobilized for War. Nah. I don't think I like that one. Canister? I didn't even know Canister was still streaming. I thought you ended a while ago. Canister, thank you very much for the raid. We actually just finished up our first donation deck of the night. Hope you had a good stream, buddy. We're gonna give these cards back and rent some more cards so we can play deck number 2.